Hello everyone, welcome back to Bombe. 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 Bombe? Not very good at pronouncing French, although I believe it's actually meant to be German, maybe? They both spell bomb the same way and they pronounce it differently. Bombe. Bombe. Anyway, we're teaching the computer to play Minesweeper. And last episode, I think we only wrote one rule, right? We wrote another rule, but it was a disaster. It was true, but generated very problematic regions. So we simplified it to this. And when I ran it over all the levels we haven't solved yet, we got a decent chunk of them, as you can see. A lot of the third column is done. Weirdly, none of these? Sort of hard to believe when we could do this and this. Oh, I must have cut it off before it got here. It looks like it can do a few. Oh, faster? Because it really couldn't make any progress in this column, I think. So maybe I just forgot to do this one. Anyway, point is, this new rule that we wrote has found fairly broad application. Its numbers are certainly lower than some of the more basic rules, but it was instrumental in clearing quite a lot of squares in this big party. And I assume that led to many more rules triggering. So I still don't understand what it means to have cells. Well, actually, for this one, I do know what it means to have cells cleared. This actually cleared cells. Kind of stunning that this rule is rule 0. Oh, I put it up top because I was embarrassed about it. That's why. I remember. I didn't want to forget it. So it might be triggering sooner than it otherwise might. So what is the deal with this? Why is this specialized to 1? I don't remember this rule. Anyway, I'm happy with the one we wrote. We need to start working on some column 3 stuff soon. Or I guess column 4, because 3 is sort of close to done. At least for hexes. Why does this rule exist? No, that's not true. If there's an X or more that is contained within the union of an X or less and a 1. No, illogical. I know I could look at the example of why, but I wrote this and it seems great. It's triggered a lot of times. What does it mean? And why does this have to be 1? Could it be 1 or fewer? It could be. 1 or more, I assume, is no good. Sure, that seems like a good update, I guess. That happen to solve anything new here? Just out of curiosity. It does. It solved a puzzle. Triggered 7 times. Clearing 7 cells, miraculously, and somehow still cleared only 1 puzzle. So if there's at most 1 outside the union of these, then it can't be... No. You can't... you can't put a mine into the X or fewer region without also putting it into the X or more region. Because then you would have no place... No, you wouldn't have enough mines left in here. Because they would have to go either here or here. And both of those are full, sort of. I think there's a more general version of this where this is a variable, and instead of clearing, you make a new region. Maybe? Like, if there's Y or fewer out here, then you can't put Y minus 1 mines in there. Or you can only put... You can't put Y mines in there. Now, I'm a little worried that when I do this, it's just going to create a billion regions. But let's try it. Let's duplicate this rule. And say there's Y plus 1 or fewer out here. And you're not allowed to put all Y of them, all Y plus 1 of them there, only Y or fewer. Yes. This is correct. The question is it a disaster? Like, does it blow up in large puzzles? It doesn't seem to. Oops, get out of here. On the other hand, it did trigger 78 times in 33 puzzles and clear no regions. So that is a danger sign. Clear no cells, I guess. Right? It's triggering a lot and clearing no cells. I don't know what that means. I'm actually going to go ask in the Discord what this column even means, and maybe I can tell, like, whether this means it's done nothing useful at all, or maybe it's unlocked something useful some other way. Alright, so I did just ask, and the cells cleared when a rule clears, or I guess bombs, which makes sense, a square, it gets credit in this column, and so does every rule that created a region that was important in getting there. So this has triggered 212 times, but none of the regions created have ever been used as part of a step on the path to clearing a cell. So it hasn't done anything useful yet. But I don't want to delete it yet. It's not like it's going crazy. And maybe it'll be useful somewhere someday. Yeah, see? Ah! Got one! See? I wish I could see where that was. Okay, well, whatever. We don't need to, like, do this for hours. I want to just, like, find a puzzle that I can make some sense out of somewhere. Make progress on. Boy, there sure was a lot happening there. I remember this puzzle, and I don't remember it having so much fucking junk in it. I've made a lot of rules that make junk. I trashed 47 regions. Wow. All right, just give me a hint. What is important in here? Thank you. Just get rid of all my garbage, and that's much better. So this square probably can't be a mine, right? Well, maybe it can. We put no mines here, but that would be okay. We could just mine up the rest of this area. Yeah, that's fine. I guess, can this square be empty? Oh, the hint is telling me it's this square. Yes. Can this square be empty? I assume that's going to be hard. It will be hard. Because I would need a mine here to satisfy the 2, and a mine here to satisfy the 3, but that blows up the 1. So I think I should hide this 3 and go fetch up the 3 or more that's under it. Oops, I grabbed a 3 or fewer. This one. And this I want to get the 1 or fewer constraint behind it. These are the 3 things that are happening here. And I think it's not a surprise that we run into a situation like this, because it's very like this rule, I think. Except, no. Well, it's sort of the more version of this rule, kind of, in a way, that I couldn't figure out how to write expressively. Right, where we have like an X or more and a Y or more overlapping with some kind of minus or fewer thing, right? Well, this seems like the kind of puzzle that would be solved by the Sorcerer's Apprentice rule that I wrote recently and then threw away because it made so many crazy regions, right? This 1 or fewer in this area means that it means something. It creates a restriction on the 3+ and the 2+ somehow. That because they can only put 1 of their at least 5 mines in the area that touches this, they have to put 4 of their other mines, their other 4 mines, in this area that doesn't touch, the area that they share that doesn't touch this, right? And there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 such squares. So I would be putting a 4 or greater here. But this is what led me into recursive hell, is writing that rule in general. Because it creates a new region with no necessarily expectation that that region will lead anywhere. And then that region can trigger this cycle to start again and generate still larger regions. So well, I mean, right. The region generated would be a 4 plus, and it wouldn't overlap with this 1 or minus, so it wouldn't be, like, eligible to start the cycle again with this 1 or fewer. Except there's shitloads of 1 or fewers all over the damn map, right? This one's hidden. Why is it hidden? It seems like it could be useful, no? Did I hide it by hand? Maybe I did. Seems useful, though. Well, not really. What? I mean, it isn't useful at the moment. Fine. But how did it get there? How did it get hidden? I mean, I guess for starters, how did it get made? This 1 or more overlapping with this 2 or fewer. I mean, sure, that's fine. And it puts a 1 or fewer here. But why? Did I hide it? Probably. But I thought usually when that was the case, you would see visibility set by user, right? Like it would say that here. Just to double check, I'm going to refresh the regions on this. Oh, it's because I said hint. I remember now. Okay, great. All right, so that's fine then. But I had gone to the trouble of... Oh, give me a different hint this time. Instead of a 2 or more, or a 2 or something, it focused on this 3. Well, that's interesting. I can go get the 3 or mores. Nope, 3 or mores that are touching this and bring them out. And the 1 or fewer over here, and then banish the 3s themselves. Yeah, so we're now back to where we were, except instead of a 2 or more that includes this, I have a 3 or more that includes this. Well, that is sort of... I guess the 2 or more that doesn't include this square is better, right? Where is it? This one, I think. And hide this. Oh, visibility set by user. Right. Okay, I feel like maybe that... I don't know. Should visibility set by hint be a thing? Something to remind me where that came from. Anyway, this could also... there should be like a 2 or more that's in this area, right? This is slightly more useful. Or indicative of the real... Nope. I missed. Not that. This 3 or more. Maybe there is... Maybe the 2 or more in there is in the garbage? No. Well, this, and this. Didn't I just see that? This one. That's the one I want. Yes. So this, I think, is the crux of the issue. But the general rule that I wanted to write is still, I think, going to go all Sorcerer's Apprentice on me. Create zillions of regions that don't do anything. On this puzzle, it would be useful, right? I would create a 3 or more constraint here. Maybe what I can do is, instead of creating a new region, just say mark it all as bombs if that is possible, like if the region size matches. That way it's guaranteed to do something useful. In the same way I have this one. It does most of the useful things that the other one did, and can't spawn new regions that are going to go crazy. So if we have like that, please put it over here just for nice pleasant symmetry. If we have well, so illogical. Right, I can clear this space. No. Really? I can bomb that space. Why can't I bomb more? Like, why isn't this space a bomb? Okay, but I sort of thought, all right, let's the rule I thought I could make that would be too general would be to say there's a 3 or more region along this area, which in this case is the same as bombing all of it. But you can't do that because it matters how big this overlap is, huh? Or, well, how big some overlap somewhere is. You can't... Right. In this setup, what I can prove is that you can't have a non-mine in a space where these two overlap, because that affects both of them, right? And that's why I can put a bomb here. But I don't know. I can just write that. But this... I'm sure this is more general somehow. Wait, can I... Maybe working with these twos is stupid, right? Shouldn't there be some one or more rules? Like, shouldn't there be a one or more here? And a one or more here? Like, maybe they're not on the grid. I don't know. I probably trashed them. I didn't trash them. They haven't been written yet, huh? Because really, the fact that you can put a mine out here... Imagine if I could just mark a mine there and said this were one or more. Well, okay. Don't even mark a mine. This definitely has to be one or more, right? Because there's two or more, and like there's this one space where, right? And then the same would be true here. And I think I already have a rule that handles this for smaller numbers, for ones, right? It would have to be a 3-region rule. Here it isn't. But it's close. It would be a 1-region rule with 2 X pluses in it and a 1 or fewer. I don't have that. Okay. But really, these being 2s and there being something out here is not material at all. What's material is the kind of implied 1 or more here and implied 1 or more here, entangled with this 1 or fewer. So one thing I could do, and I probably shouldn't because I imagine it'll lead... Like, one thing I've thought of before, and I don't think I ever quite wrote, was... Or maybe I did and it just went nuts, so I killed it. Was in an intersection where we have, like... let's actually add them in a different order. Like this. When... And... Okay, I don't care about how big any of these regions are. Well, maybe I do, actually. Maybe I want them to be non-zero. I certainly don't care how big this part is, and I don't care how big this part is. These having some overlap with each other is probably useful. because otherwise we're going to create a stupid region. Like, this region won't do much. How about here? This and this. Anyway, what I want to do is say when there's, like, give me x's. When there's a region of size x plus 1 or more, and an x or fewer, although maybe just say x, then or I guess I think I actually want to do differently from that. I want to just say 1. If it only has space for one more outside of this pair of regions, do I... And let's say 1 plus for all of this. I want there to be at least some meeting for each of them. And I guess this being 0 doesn't really matter. If it were positive, that would be fine. Then we can write an x or more region in here. And if we run this very slowly, you'll see this will put a 1 or more here, and also a 1 or more here. Nope. Yes, there it goes. I ran it slowly. And then it stops, which is great news. I was worried it might go crazy. We can now hide these 2's and focus on the real, like, core of why this was all happening, which is that you can't put a mine... Oh, whoops. Uh-oh. It didn't put the 1 or more I wanted. It put a different one. Oh. Well, okay, so maybe I need to be more... What do you mean this triggered 0 times? It's triggered 3. There's not a hidden rule, right? That's like... Oh, this one. Is that right? Yeah, from here to here. That's what I wanted. Make that visible, please. And hide that one. Who made you invisible? Me. Whoops. Oh, no, I made it visible. Who made it invisible? Well, it makes sense. It's inside of a 2 or more region, I guess, right? That's probably why I hit it. I don't know. Anyway. The point is, now, since you can't put a mine here and here, this has to be a mine. And I can write it for regions of size 1, and it'll work this time. If I... hang on. Let's make sure the pluses are in one place and the minus is over here. Sort of irrespective of the size of all these regions. The zeros might matter, I'm not sure. You have to put a mine where these 2 meet. No, you don't. Why? Probably because of some of these question marks I put in. This one should be fine. Ah, these are important. If there's 0, the rule doesn't apply. Okay, let's... so how many of these actually matter? It's just this one. So one or fewer, then there has to be a bomb. Oh, then they're okay. Right. Because if this region were bigger and I said make it all bombs, that would obviously be wrong. Got it. Okay. So how do we generalize this? And these zeros all do matter. How much can we generalize this with variables? Can this, like, if this were size x, or if this were x or more, and this were y or more, what would that do? Probably be a damn headache is what? I mean, maybe this rule is fine as is. No, hang on. This is the wrong way to generalize. I should say there's at least one mine in that region. Okay, that's better. And then that'll solve here. But what would be even better? Also, I guess I'm worried that when I... that actually isn't enough to solve the whole puzzle, huh? I thought we would get enough new information. Apparently not. I'm worried that when I take these rules to a new puzzle, that this rule is going to trigger... This rule is going to make too many regions, right? Like, let's say I said work on this for me. Does it go crazy? Doesn't look like it. Like, it creates some useless regions, but most of my region creating rules do that. And a pretty reasonable percentage of them are useful. The much bigger culprit is actually this one here, which has almost never done anything somehow. Yeah, this one seems fine. This rule I still don't really like. Oh yeah, now okay, give me a hint again to narrow down what is left in this puzzle. And it says use these 6 rules to do something here. Yikes. Well, I'm not allowed to use 6 rules, so I would have to create some more intermediate regions. Well, for starters, there should be a 1 or more between these two, which I imagine is important, right? Here it is. Bring that to the forefront. And then just hide these, right? I assume we can still get there with this. If I say hint, I don't know, it didn't change the regions, so that's probably good. Actually though, if I just hide this region and say hint, will you put it back? Yes, you said it's impossible with the regions that are visible. Got it. So put that back. Hint, this is now gettable. Okay, good. So by simplifying this, I haven't made things impossible. Do I have 0 or 2s lying around? Those seem like those should be important. Maybe? It's a long loop to get back here. And I think the size of the loop is going to be important. It's like, if I allow this to be a non-mine, I assume that's going to be a problem, right? We end up having to put a mine here and here. And that means no mine here and no mine here. Which means the 2 is broken. So for starters, at least, we could bring out the 2 or fewer, which is really the issue. But this doesn't quite solve the puzzle. Can I combine information in these 2 regions somehow? Like, say, if there's a mine here, then that doesn't really tell us anything, right? I don't have a 1 lying around in this area, do I? No. So if there's a mine here, I haven't really learned anything. But if there's no mine here, then there's also no mine there. Indeed, in this whole region. So doesn't that somehow constrain things? Like, well, I guess so. In a way that is not... I've never created a negation clue before. I've you know, earlier we worked in column 4 where they start writing clues like not 5 or something like that, right? It's any number but 5. Oh shit. Now, okay, give me the hint again, please. Oh. This time it's chosen a different set. And this 2 actually is kind of nice. In a way. Oh, because the clues I had hidden before were sort of... It doesn't use clues that are hidden to hint you. So now it's down to 4. But I think... I think I kind of liked these 1 or mores here and here. Even though they actually were telling me less than this 2 is telling me. And they took more regions to do it. Because I think the interaction here was interesting. So if I go hide this 2 again and bring back these 1 or mores, now I can ask for a hint and it'll say you have to focus on this square. You can't go anywhere else, which is fine. But I think I can say... Like, there could be 0 mines between here and these 3 if this were the only mine. There could be 2 mines if there were a mine here and therefore a mine in this area. But what there can't be is 1 mine in this area, right? A mine here forces a mine into there. And a mine in one of these regions forces a mine into there. So I could say 0 or 2. But I think that the more general version is probably to write not 1. Like, right? And the reason that this is useful, that I want to do this at all, is because it bridges the gap between this region and this one, letting me involve fewer total regions in a rule that rings back around on itself, or a chain of regions that loops back in on itself, which is what I need to start making conclusions about this square. So, for example, I mean, I could just take these and I could write the simplest possible thing. Say there is not 1. A not 1 region is created here. Impossible. Really? Oh no, because this says 1 or more. I could put a mine here and here. I keep forgetting. It doesn't say 1. If it did, then you could do that. That's annoying. Thought I had something there. And this is perfectly symmetrical. The same thing is happening over here. And I can't really clear any of this stuff, obviously. Or, I think, put a mine on it. Yeah, I need more regions than this. If I went and grabbed the 1 or fewer under this 1, I don't imagine that would be more helpful. It's strictly less information, and I can't figure out how to write a rule even with all the information I have. I could throw these 1 or mores away and get back the 2. And then this is just a single rule, I guess. That's true. That's fewer rules involved in the chain. Actually, shouldn't there be a 1 or more here? is there any progress from this spot? There is. Okay. Now this is still the same number of regions. It's not clear that that's helped exactly. But I think it's removed some distraction. This extra square isn't actually involved in what's going on at all. So I guess if I can draw a conclusion about these squares, it surely must be that they're empty, right? Because if this were a mine, there'd be nothing here or here. These would be mines, and then this square would be in a predicament, a pickle. So fine. That's what I'm trying to do. But I need to find a way to take 3 of these regions and combine their information somehow. Like these 3. I mean, obviously this, I could use the 2 or more that's under it. That's the real constraint. And these both are like, I only need the 1 or fewer, right? If I ask for a hint again, it's going to say, yep, you've still got all the right pieces to work on that. And so this can as well be a 1 or fewer. Right. In fact, this 2 or more, shouldn't it be creating a 1 or more between here? That's my real issue. Is it in the trash? It doesn't exist. But, like, this square isn't really interesting, right? The fact that I need 1 or more here is... So I guess I could write a rule that creates that 1 or more at least, right? I somehow missed. I was... like that. Two or more with 1 space outside creates a 1 or more region in here. So I could make that. But it probably is a little bit too specific. Actually, hang on. Didn't I just write this rule? I guess not. Really, if this is x plus 1 or more, then this is x or more, right? Yeah. But this is going to generate a lot of regions, I imagine. Let's see how bad that is. Well, no. Let's first, I don't know, stick with this puzzle for now. So now we've got this pattern of alternating mores and fewers. And that's kind of what I want a rule about, right? Is if there's like an even number of these looping in on themselves, then you can't put mines in the fewers that don't touch the mores, right? But I don't know that you can do that with the tools we have. Right? I mean, I don't know. I guess... I mean, I still want to relate like this square to this one. Oh, hint, by the way, to confirm it's still possible. Yes, it is. And I want to relate this square to this one somehow. Like, can I say that at least one of these has a mine? Maybe? By just going one direction on the ring? I don't think I can, but maybe. If there were no mine here and no mine here, using, like, let's say I just, for the moment, hid this rule. Now hint, it says, yeah, it's impossible. You can't solve it with just these 3 clues. But that's fine. I'm not looking necessarily to solve it with these 3 clues. I'm looking to use them to make a rule that lets me ignore this clue and bring this one back instead. Well, okay, but if I do ignore that, then it's possible, like, that there could be no mines between these 2, right? Because I could put a mine here and here. But, hang on. These 2 can't both be empty, can they? Because if they were, then these would have to both be full, and you'd blow up this rule. So I think that works. I think that's a way to take the information about this rule and, like, shove it onto the left side. Which might help? Should help. A 1 or more between these 2 would be very useful, would it not? With this rule region that I hid here that says there's only 1? Yeah. Okay. So let's just confirm what I have so far without generalizing at all. And then think about how to generalize. Yes. Okay. So that, I think, would solve this puzzle. Which I'm very happy about. how exactly do I generalize it? I don't know. I mean, I can put some question marks in. I think all these things of size 1 don't really matter. Do these zeros matter? They do. Although, if these two did overlap, like, I could include this in the region and then say I don't care about its size, right? This one matters, though, for some reason. Yeah, because there's no way to use this 1 or fewer to put all of the mines. There's no place where all 3 of them overlap, because then 1 mine would solve the issue. Although, I mean, couldn't I just include this in the region as well and make it a question mark? I could. Is there some way to involve at least an X here somewhere? Like, what if these were X or more and Y or more? What would that accomplish? Obviously, you couldn't just say 1 or more anymore. I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it as is. Yeah, now we've made a lot of crummy rules. Hint pares it down some, presumably a lot. Yeah, but there's still 4 rules. I don't know. I'm worried that the rule that I just made, or the rules that I just made, this one's fine, I think. It's not... Whoa, wait a minute. It's the same as this one. It's just more general because it uses question marks, right? Okay, so I can bin this rule. Great. But I'm worried that, like, some of these, or maybe even this, will just make a lot of regions that don't go anywhere. So, like, if I say, go start on this. Yeah, like, notice regions cleared is staying at 5. But it made 56 regions. It's not the end of the world. A 10% hit rate is okay. Okay, that actually did something. So, and it's not creating a crazy number of regions. Yeah, these new rules are solving puzzles we didn't solve before. Okay, I guess I'm satisfied with that. I wish I were smart enough to generalize here. But at the moment, I'm not. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.